I woke up to the sound of engines. Not the usual morning traffic, but something deeper, louder, angrier. When I pulled back the curtain, there they were, bulldozers, 3 of them, bright yellow, parked right in front of my home. And just behind them, a group of men in uniforms, holding papers, HOA papers. That's when my heart dropped. They had come from my home, my only safe place, the last thing I had from my grandmother. But what they didn't know is that I had a secret that could destroy everything they thought they controlled. Let me take you back. It all started when I moved into this house 12 years ago. It was my grandmother's house. She raised me here, loved me here, protected me here. And when she passed away, she left the house to me, her only grandchild. The house wasn't fancy. It wasn't new. It had creaky floors, peeling paint, and a porch that leaned a little to the left. But it had soul. It had memories. And it had love. The problem started when the new HOA president moved in, Mr. Dalton. He came from the city, wore suits, drove a black BMW, and he hated imperfection. At first, it was small things. A notice about my trash bin not being brought in on time. Then a fine for the grass being 2 inches too high. Then letters. So many letters. Each one colder than the last. Each one telling me how my home didn't meet community standards. But this wasn't just any home. It was a protected historic structure, or so my grandmother had once told me. I just never found the proof. Until now. 3 weeks before the bulldozers showed up, I got the final notice. HOA claimed my house was a public hazard, that it was scheduled for demolition. They said I had 21 days to vacate. No appeal, no hearing, just leave. I was stunned. I cried for hours that night. I walked through every room, touching the walls, the windows, the old fireplace. I whispered, "I'm sorry, Grandma." I tried. But something inside me wouldn't give up, not without a fight. On the 18th day, with only 3 days left before demolition, I went up to the attic. I hadn't been up there in years. Cobwebs, dust, old boxes of my grandmother's things. And then I saw it, a small green file folder, tucked in the corner under a stack of fabric. Inside gold, letters, receipts, blueprints, and at the bottom, a certificate. Registered historical property, Oak Ridge Heritage Act, 1965. It had my grandmother's name, the house address, and a seal from the State Historical Society. Tears streamed down my face. This was the secret weapon. This was what they didn't know. The next morning, I took the file to a local lawyer. She looked at the documents and raised an eyebrow. "Did you know," she said, "the certificate makes it illegal for them to even touch this property?" I shook my head. No, I had no idea. They've been harassing me for years. She nodded. Well, they messed with the wrong woman. That same day, she filed an injunction and a cease and desist order. She contacted the local news. And within 48 hours, the HOA had a spotlight on them they never saw coming. So back to that morning, when the bulldozers showed up, I walked out with a file in my hand. Straight toward Mr. Dalton. He smirked. "You need to step aside," he said. "Not today," I replied. I handed him the document. He read it. His face turned pale. He stammered. "This can't be. This isn't in our system." I smiled. "That's because you never bothered to ask." Behind me, the cameras were rolling, and the crowd had gathered. Neighbors who once ignored me now stood beside me. The demolition was stopped. The news aired the story that night. Local woman saves historical home from illegal HOA demolition. The city council got involved. They opened an investigation. Turns out Mr. Dalton had been pressuring multiple residents to leave so he could sell their lots to developers. 3 board members resigned. Dalton was fined, and I was safe. I still live here. The house still creaks. The porch still leans. But now it has a plaque, right next to the door. Protected Historic Landmark, EST, 1948. Sometimes I sit on the porch with my daughter and I tell her, "This house stands because of your great-grandma." And because we never gave up, I learned that strength isn't about muscle. It's about standing tall when the world wants to push you down. It's about knowing your worth, even when others don't see it. So, if you're ever feeling small, if someone tells you that you don't belong, remember, the bulldozers might be loud, but they can't break the walls that love built. Thanks for listening to my story. If you've ever stood up to something bigger than you, I'd love to hear it in the comments. And if the story touched you, subscribe to Emotional Tales, where true stories meet truth, heart, and hope.